Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going fabulous and your week is off to a great start. Today we're going to create a card for the Spellbinders with the Glimmer Kit of the month for May 2021. This month's Glimmer Kit is all about polka dots. Actually an outline of a polka dot. It's super neat. And our foil this month is polished brass, which I really like. I like this color, kind of a, well, it's close to a gold, but it's brass. This month's glimmer plate, you get one large polka dot glimmer plate that has polka dot or outlines of circles, lots of sentiments to go with this set, which is really nice. And you get two dies that will cut out your sentiments, and then you get some small circles that will fit in your outlines of your glimmer plate. So neat. Yana actually has a glimmer plate similar. It's not the same thing, guys, but they can work together, which is the nice thing. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my polished brass that I have in my stash. I like to use the rolls that I already have before I open a new one. We're going to bring in our quick trimmer and trim down some foil. So let's take a piece, and I didn't realize I was this low. So we're going to put this back. I need a piece that's going to fit the length of my card base, which is going to be an A2 size card. So I'm going to have to open up my brand new foil that came with the kit this month. I'm going to trim it lengthwise first, making sure that my foil will cover it. I'll use my glimmer plate as a guide. This glimmer plate is the outline of circles. Yana's is called Yana's Polka Dot Strip. Hers is solid, and you guys could actually foil with Yana's and then add this on top to create two different foiled polka dots with an outline. So neat. That's another video, but I think that's nice that the options there. We're going to trim down we'll probably do 3 larger strips to cover our glimmer plate here. This is where your quick trimmer comes in really handy. Using my plate as a guide lengthwise, we can just line it up and then use our little craft knife here and run it through. This is just a neat little invention. Makes cutting foil super easy. And I could trim about 1/2 inch off of this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use it as one piece. I'm going to foil all of my sentiments at once, so I don't need a thin strip right now. But I'm going to go ahead and trim down a few more pieces. And I like to, there's one trimmer here that has the foil blade and the other one has a paper blade. I like to keep them together with the little, one of those little circle hooks that you can open up and close. Just makes it like a keychain, keeps them nice and tidy together. But anyway, I am going to foil on black cardstock with my polished brass foil. You always put your glimmer plate face up and then you put your foil face down. I have my machine heating up here. As soon as my timer light stops flashing, we're going to run this through our Platinum 6, and then we are going to have some beautifully foiled black cardstock. And I love the way this turned out. I think it's so neat. You can see here, it's the outline of the polka dots. And the nice thing about polka dots is it's great for lots of occasions. Birthdays, just because. You could use it for any holiday, basically. Now I'm going to add another piece of foil. I'm going to flip my my panel around, and I'm eyeballing it, which is probably not the greatest idea. I would suggest maybe taping it down first, maybe doing the hinge method. And then lining it up to get a more even background. But we'll just try this out and see how it goes. We ran this through with Platinum 6 and I got it straight, which is nice, but I think I should have flipped my glimmer plate around. Kind of looks like a number 8. We're going to flip it around and do a redo here. Let me see if we can get it closer together. And again, I would suggest maybe lining it up opposite, doing the hinge method with some washi tape to get it a full background. But we'll foil the right side this time, run this through. And you know what, guys? Once your glimmer plate's heated up, you can run it through 2 or 3 times without pushing that timer button because your plate's already hot. It's already heated up and it foils beautifully. because you can see here I ran it through 3 times already. I'm going to flip around my glimmer plate using my brand new little magnet, which I'm loving. It's so lightweight, and it makes it really easy for picking up and moving with just that button. So nice. I'm going to scoot this over, add my foil, and then we are going to try and line it up one more time, getting it closer. You have basically one side that can connect like a puzzle piece on the dots, and so you could see here if I scooted it over maybe 1/2 an inch, it would have just lined up beautifully. So maybe if we did this on the craft, I did the hinge method. I'm not very good at the hinge method, but I think if you did that, I think it would work out better. But this is going to work for my project today, and we're just going to continue on with our second piece that we created. I'm going to go ahead and create a foil background on a piece of my red cardstock. The cardstock that I'm using is from Spellbinders, and I'll list it down below. I haven't quite remembered all the names just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and run my red cardstock through my Platinum 6 and foil the bottom half of this. This is going to be the bottom half of our card. Now I love polka dots, and I love polka dots and ladybugs, so I thought we'd make a ladybug card today. That's all the polka dot color that we're going to be doing, and we are going to bring in our sentiments. Normally for a card, I just use the sentiment or foil the sentiment that I'm going to use, but since my machine's already heated up, I'm going to go ahead and foil 2 or 3 pages of these sentiments and have them on hand. I think it's a smart thing to do, and it's so pretty when you have foiled sentiments. So I just put them all on my platform there, and we're going to foil all of them at once. The die set and glimmer plate set that I just showed you is called Ladybug, a lovely Ladybug. It's from Amazing Paper Grace, and I'll list it down below. I love this Ladybug, and I think it's going to go perfect with my polka dots here. So these are my sentiments. We're going to remove the foil, and I love the block font on here. You can do so much with the block font. Now if you wanted to create one long strip of a full sentiment, you can, or it can go in 2 parts or 3 parts, and I think that's perfect for this set too. I'm going to foil a couple more, and then we're going to move our sentiment glimmer plates out of the way, and you can see how nice this little tool is. So if you guys are thinking about a glimmer machine, the old glimmer machines came with metal tweezers. This is brand new, and yours will automatically come with it. So if you have an old one, or I wouldn't say older, if you had a newer model, your newer model will come with the brand new magnet, which is nice. I'm going to foil my ladybug, just the ladybug, because and it does come with coordinating dies. The leaf or the leaves, the wings of the butterfly I'm foiling with red cardstock, and the body of the ladybug I'm going to foil with black cardstock. And then next we're going to, while that's warming up, I'm going to go ahead and die cut out a bunch of red and black circles to go on the inside of our outlines. So here's the body of the ladybug, and here's the wings, and we are going to go ahead and take the coordinating die. We're going to move our machine out of the way, and we are going to put together a pretty black and red and white card. Let's line up the dies on our ladybug, and we'll die cut those out. And then I thought about popping up each one of the black circles for my background, and then opted not to. I think it would look really neat and dimensional. So there's an option too. If you wanted to pop up each of these circles, you could. But for today's card, I'm just going to glue those circles down. To create the ladybug, it's easy. I'm just going to add foam adhesive behind the wings, place it on the body of the ladybug, and we're good to go. Now we're going to bring in our glue, and then we're going to put dots of glue in the center of each one of our circles. We'll start off with our black panel, and I'm not too concerned about the spacing being off. With our sentiment, I think it's not going to be that noticeable, so I'm going to go with this panel. I'm going to go ahead and add red polka dots to the black cardstock, just lining them up, And I love the way this looks. I would think this would be a cute baby card too. If you were to put some pastel colors on white cardstock, I just think that would be so pretty. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the bottom area because we're going to add our red cardstock on the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing with this. Add little dots of glue, and then we're going to put black polka dots on the inside. And it doesn't fill in the area completely. You do have a little bit of that red showing behind the black, and I think that's genius. I just love that. It does look very dimensional too. So we have some black and red polka dots and red and black polka dots. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. We're going to trim off the top part of our panel, and we're going to go ahead and remove this glue here. Add a little bit of adhesive. Actually, let's die cut out our sentiments because the glue is a little bit wet and we'll give it a second to dry. How about that? For my sentiment date, I'm going to die cut out all of my sentiments, just blocking them off, but the sentiment we're going to use for this card says you're 1 in a million, and you are is separate, 1 in a is separate, and then million is separate. So that's what I meant when you can create 3-part sentiments or 2 parts. You just would just line them up in a strip to create one single strip. Okay, we're going to add adhesive behind, or actually trim down the top of our red piece. So it's less cardstock, more polka dots. And just lining up the polka dots as measurement guide. And then we're going to bring in tape runner, add adhesive, just 1 line of adhesive over the top will work. And then we're going to adhere it to the bottom of our panel here. Once that's adhered, I'm going to trim this panel down. I want a panel that measures 3.5 inches by 4 3/4. So I think this is the perfect size. It's going to leave me some outline on my card base. And it kind of looked a little crooked. I think my red polka dot piece was a little bit crooked. Or even maybe it's just my eyes that are crooked. But I'm going to trim this down, and that is our fun ladybug panel. I thought you are 1 in a million goes perfect with all these dots. I love that. I'm going to bring in some white twine, and then we're going to go around our seam twice and tie a bow off to the left. I'm going to go all the way to the end with the bow because we're going to tuck our ladybug right next to it here. We'll just trim the tails of our twine. I'm using some Fun Stampers Journey whipped cream twine. Love this twine. Okay, and we're going to adhere this piece to some white cardstock. I'm going to mat it on here. So we're just going to have a little bit of that white peeking out from behind. Once it's taped down, I'll just bring in my trimmer. You can trim it before or after, but sometimes trimming it after it's adhered is just as easy. So we're matted our polka dots. I'm going to add a piece of fun foam behind my panel, and then this is going to go on our card base, which is a standard A2 size card base. It's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So all in all, today's card's pretty easy. The polka dots is doing all the work. I'm going to go ahead and add my ladybug. We're going to put some foam adhesive behind it, give it a little more dimension. And then for our sentiment, we're going to kind of put them wonky, almost covering up the areas that are missing, that looks like we're missing polka dots. Kind of covering up my not so full background. We'll just remove the release paper and add our sentiment here. Now as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, I thought the twine would pull it all together with it being white, but my sentiment is really bold against that black. So what we're going to do to kind of tie everything together is we're going to die cut out the ladybug and the ladybug wings with white cardstock, and then we're going to remove the release paper. We're going to disassemble our ladybug. Just remove the foam adhesive carefully. Take these 2 pieces off also. To take them off, I like to just roll them off. Yeah, you're going to waste a piece of foam adhesive, but you're not going to ruin your ladybug. Now I'm going to offset it a little bit so that white's showing on the body of the ladybug and also on the wings. And then we're just going to reassemble, put our ladybug wings back on. This way we have a black and white and red ladybug. We'll add a piece of foam tape behind our whole little ladybug, and then we'll put this back on our card. And I think this just tied it all together, with the border being white and the sentiment. So a little bit of white just helped. But that's my project today. I'm not going to add any more bells and whistles. The foil does all that for you. I love the way this looks. Everything's listed below if you guys are interested. Have a fabulous day. We will see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.